What's up, everyone? It's your girl Rossie, and I'm back with another show. You guys, today I have with me an artist out of Sacramento. I know you guys are like, when is she bringing on a Sacramento artist? You started your year off, Rossie, in Houston. And Kibo, you are great. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being the first artist out of Houston. Kibo, you guys check out that interview. It's up on the channel right now. He is also another amazing talent out of Houston. He's a songwriter, he's a R&B artist, rapper, all that. But tonight, I have with me JAKHARI Smith. He too is a rapper. He's a songwriter. He's a singer, and I want you guys to meet him. And JAKHARI, just to let you know, because you are from Sacramento, there is a question that I always ask artists out of Sacramento, and I'll hit you that at the end of the interview. But you
Okay.
guys meet JAKHARI Smith. What's
So
up,
y'all, what's
JAKHARI?
up? Hey, how's it going?
It's going really, really good. So we were backstage and I'm fanning out to JAKHARI. I'm telling him I'm like all on your page. I'm telling him I'm listening to your music today and just singing. And I'm loving what he does. So,
Thank you.
JAKHARI, just a little bit. You're from Sacramento.
Yes, born and
Born and
raised.
raised?
Born and raised. Yep.
Really? What do
Yeah.
you like most about your hometown, Sacramento?
I like that it's Sacramento is like it's a big little city. Like it's a we're the capital. It's a big city, but also like everybody in the community kind of like knows each other, and like
Right.
it's a good and a bad thing, but I like the positivity of it. Like we it feels like a family here, and
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot of like really like dope people out here, and I feel like we're just like building together and like
Right.
working together, and like it's just cool to like be around like a city that's also growing at the same time. Like,
Right.
it's well established, but there's so much more, and that's so much more coming. So it's like
Absolutely.
it's beautiful to be from here. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, but I've been in Sacramento for 11 years. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm now Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Portland is my home, but Sacramento is my second home. And I feel the same way here. When I got into acting again here, the community just, everyone just helps you out. They get so involved with your career. They tell you where to go, who to link up to, who to link up with, and everyone is just so positive here. And I really
Yeah.
do appreciate that about Sacramento. And
Mm-hmm.
to getting to know a little bit about the music scene here, we do have a lot going on. And I do have to say that you don't have to make it in LA or go to New York. Like
Yeah.
Sacramento is popping. There's a lot going on here, and there's, like I was telling people, there are so many artists here in Sacramento. What's up, JoJo? Thanks for joining us. Joanne is a friend of the channel. She's always in the chat, so thank you, Joanne, for joining us tonight. But no,
What's up, Joe?
Sacramento, positive vibes, and just there's so much talent for me to interview with actors, singers, songwriters, all of that. You guys, just to let you know, if you don't know, my name is Rossie McCree. I am the host of Rossie's Clubhouse. And this is episode 38. Okay. So, um, about you though, I was talking to JAKHARI and I was talking about taking notes. And you started, would you say you professionally started music in 2021? That's when I found your mixtape Until Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually started like every single thing with music in 2021.
Okay.
I basically like I started journaling towards the end of 2020, around
Okay.
maybe November of 2020. Like I grew up like always like listening to music, and like
Okay.
I always having my headphones in, always like listening to something. And
Okay.
I started journaling after my grandfather passed away. And
Okay.
he passed away in April of 2020, and then
Oh,
around November-ish is when I started. I got a notebook, and I just started like, it wasn't like any type of poetry or anything like that. It was just
right.
basically just writing out how I'm feeling day by day. And it was as simple as that. And
Okay.
from there a few months went by, and I met one of my great, like, closest friends, Connor Chavez. He's from here too. And I met him, and he was in a band, and he would invite me to shows and everything. And like I said, I wasn't involved in the music scene at all. I didn't really go to many shows or anything like that. I didn't like know any really local artists or anything like that. So like it was like fresh to me.
Okay.
And I told him I was like, I had an interest of, I didn't know if it was gonna be rap, if it was gonna be singing, if it wasn't even gonna be like anything like that, if it was gonna be, I just know I wanted to be a part of music somehow
Okay.
creatively,
Okay.
but I didn't know like whether it be producing or whether it be like, learning how to play an instrument, or like what it would be. I just knew I
Right.
wanted to be a part of something
Right.
musically. And I started doing turning the journaling into poetry and trying to figure out how to make things rhyme, and like learn how to write a full song, how to come up with a chorus, how to what's a verse structure, like what's a 16, what's a 12, like how to
Right.
just doing a lot of research on that. And I put my first song out in July of
Okay.
2021. It was very nerve wracking. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, do I do it? Do I not? And then just from like my friend Connor just telling me to just do it, like just go, just try it out. And
Right.
and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. And uh I didn't know what was going to happen from it, and I'm so grateful that that I made the decision to release that first song.
Right.
And from there it just like I fell in love with the whole process of like putting something together from nothing. Like,
Right.
just coming up with an idea. All right, what do I want to write about? Okay,
Right.
let me try to create, how am I going to say what I want to say in a creative way, and like put a puzzle piece together.
Right.
And from there it was just like nonstop, like every day, every night. I would
Right.
get off of work and just like write a song, write a song, write a song every day. And from there, I just like, it just kept going and going, and it led to my first project. Yeah, in October of
Okay.
2021. Yeah.
So for you, when you're writing a song, like, do you start with the beat? Do you start with the concept? Is it like a rhythm? A specific rhythm scheme? Like, how did you go about doing that? Was it the poetry first, then the beats? Like,
When I so it kind of like, it changed a lot. From when I first started, I didn't even look at beats at all.
okay,
It was all like literally like every song that I had, I wrote without any beats. I just
okay,
wrote the full song. Like I was like learning how to like how to fit how to make a full verse, how to make a full 16 bar verse, rap verse.
okay,
And I was just like, all right, let me figure out how to make these words rhyme, how to put this together, and also get my message out.
okay,
And so like a lot of my first songs, in like early on, my first few projects, majority of the songs were fully written without even hearing a beat first. And
okay,
basically what I would do is I would go to YouTube, and like I so basically I have like my favorite some of my favorite artists
okay,
that I love their production. So I would like look up like J. Cole type beat, and I would
okay,
like find beats that were similar to what he would rap over.
right,
And I would just like test out my words over the different beats, and I
right,
would find one like whenever I'm listening to a beat, I'm like, because I'm very visual, so like I want the beat to like just itself to tell me a story. Like if I'm
okay,
listening to a beat, I'm like, what is this saying? Like what kind of vibe is this giving? And
right,
basically I wanted that beat to match the vibe of my words.
Right.
So yeah, I started off by just writing full songs without even hearing beats at first, and then
Right.
finding a beat that kind of matched what I was saying. And
Right.
then now it kind of changed where I usually find beats first,
Okay.
and I try to like, cuz I'm big on flow. So I'm
Okay.
trying to like figure out like how am I going to flow on this? Is it going to be more melodic? Am I going to sing a little bit on it? Am I going to, is it going to be faster? Am I going to rap slower? Like, what's the flow of it? So, and then also, like, I've been starting to punch in a lot more. So I'll
Okay.
play a beat and then I'll just like kind of go line by line. All right, how am I going to flow on this? How, it's more about like the style of it now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I do both, but when it first started it was mainly writing first before I heard a
Okay.
beat, and now it kind of like I still do that from time to time, but it's more hearing that beat first and then figuring it out from there.
So when you say the first song, what was the first song? Do you remember the first song?
Yeah, yeah, it's called
What was
Yours
it?
to Keep.
Okay.
So that song, it was dedicated to my mom and my dad. And they're still alive, but
Okay. I was gonna ask. I was
I'm
gonna ask you that.
what was that?
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, they're still alive. But I wanted to I'm big on like giving people their flowers like while they're still here.
Yep.
Once I'm
Yeah.
gone, like, it's like the people that are close to me, they're gonna be able to like really feel like that, the love that,
Absolutely.
I had while I was here. But like, while you're here, if I'm big on like giving people like their appreciation,
Right.
as they can see it, so I was that was like one of my early songs. Like, it wasn't my first song that I wrote,
Okay.
but it was
Okay.
the first song that I released out of the
Okay.
bunch.
Okay.
And it was yeah, dedication to my mom, my dad, and
Okay.
just like telling them thank you for like everything that they taught me growing up.
Right.
And yeah, I just wanted to like it was like kind of like I wanted to shock my mom a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
she didn't know I was doing this. She didn't know I was getting started like doing this. So it was like I just presented it to her, and I'm like, "Hey, check this out." And then she's like, "Is this you?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, she's like, "Is this about me?" I was like, "Yeah." And then so it was just like I just wanted to get her opinion on it, and like
Right.
I value my mom's opinion, so much, and it was a blessing to like really, have her proud of something that I did, so
Right.
it was a moment. It was a moment.
So like, so your mom and dad, they didn't know you that you were into music.
Mm-mm.
So that was total surprise that you went, did the
Total.
music,
Yeah.
everything put together, and you present it to them.
Yep.
That's what
It
did they think
was.
about it? When you presented that, did she obviously it was good, and
Oh
she
yeah,
cried, I'm
she
sure.
she
Go
started
ahead.
crying. Yeah, she was just like, where did this come from? Like, like,
Right.
where, like, how she was just like, I she always knew I love listening to music. Like,
Okay.
majority, like every day I listen to music. Like, I usually listen to music all day. So
Okay.
she knew like I will always have my headphones in. So like,
Okay.
she knows that I love to listen to music all the time. And like,
Right.
I don't just listen to rap. Like, I listen to R&B, I listen
Right.
to, funk, soul. I've been listening to a lot of rock and alternative indie music lately.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm just trying to expand like my taste and stuff like that. But
Right.
my it was a shock to her, that like this is like a totally like new thing that I'm breaking into.
Right.
And so like it just caught her off guard, and my dad, he was just like, where, like, what, like, what's going on, like, so it was definitely like shocking to them.
Right.
But I think they kind of like understood it because, like, growing up, like I said, I would always listen to it. And then I used to like I like I was growing up, I was like on a computer a lot. So like I used to like try to figure out like how to create websites. Like, I
Okay.
would like do. I was like kind of like into tech a lot, so like
Okay.
I
Okay.
used to like try to like make my own blogs and stuff like that, and I used to do research on like different artists and like
Okay.
I was like looking up their life, and I was like, maybe if I could do like a blog site, if I could make my own
Okay.
music website and
Right.
give out news and stuff like that. And
Right.
like my dad knew that that was something I was kind of into growing up, but this side, the creative side of it, like creating the actual art,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was totally new to them and myself. Like it was just something I like just picked up.
Right.
And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
No, I absolutely love that. I love that it was a surprise to them. But so being that you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a rapper with singing, did you sing a lot around the house? Was that something that you grew up doing? I mean, did you have family members that were in music?
I didn't really know. I wouldn't say I didn't have any family members that were in music. Nobody really around me was like in a creative like music space like that.
Okay.
But I like the singing that I had was just from singing like my favorite songs, like
Okay.
because all my mom listens to is '90s R&B. Like that's
Okay.
literally like
Yep.
'90s and 2000s
Yep.
R&B. Like
Yep.
the the most hip hop, the most rap she's gonna listen to will be either LL Cool J or Tupac.
Okay.
Like that's
Okay.
really it.
Okay.
But as far as like she it's like in growing up with her, like that's
Yeah.
what I was exposed to the most.
Right.
So like just listening to Mary J,
Right.
SWV, like all like New Edition.
Oh yeah.
That's like her favorite
Yep.
group artist of all time. So
Yep.
just growing up hearing that, like I would learn so many different songs and so much
Right.
songs in my head, and like I would just sing along to those. So I just kind of like, I think that kind of helped me with
Okay.
finding like a melody and learning how to like figure out a melody over a beat.
Okay.
But I don't have like any like formal training or anything like that,
Okay.
and like no one like necessarily like taught me how to do any. It was kind of like just figuring out as I go.
Okay.
And I think the closest thing to having someone who was doing music around me was one of my friends from high school.
Okay.
He's an artist named Deshaun Visions. He's actually
Okay.
from he's from SAC. He lives in
Okay.
Atlanta right now, but he's one of the first artists that I knew who kind of like, he made music that was similar to what I like to listen to,
Okay.
like very soulful, very like, he told about how he felt and like what was on his mind. And I
Right.
didn't really like see that in person. I never had seen that in person. Like I would always, I listen to like J. Cole and Tupac and those type of
Yep.
people, but I
Yep.
never saw that around me like in person like that. So
Right.
it was like very inspiring, and he was actually the first artist when I first started like making, when I decided to make my first project. He was the
Okay.
first artist I reached out to and was like, "Hey, I just, I'm trying this new thing out, and like your music, like it inspired me, and I would love to like work with you." And
Well,
we got this. My song "Higher Place" features him,
yeah.
and that was like one of
Okay.
my
Okay.
first features. Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay. So he's been doing this for some time,
Hmm.
and where you started from in 2021. I've listened to a lot of that music, and you guys will find all his music in the description of the video. You'll find a link to his website, which will take you to YouTube, or you go to his Instagram will be there, which will take you to YouTube. Check it out. So we're gonna get to it. So we have Reflections Volume 2.
Hmm.
Okay, I think that was what, 2022?
2023.
2023.
Hmm.
Okay, and you have like, oh my gosh, you have like 13, 15 songs on there, but I'm going to name a few of the songs. We have Hate Me or Love Me,
Yeah.
Another Level, which is an awesome video. That's a video. Better Off, I really, really love that video. Get Up, Feel Right, Till the End, Ready or Not, Fly Me to the Moon, yeah, and that's a visual, you guys. In My Room, Free Yourself, another favorite of mine. I love Free Yourself.
Thank you.
No Limit, Backseat. That's a video, you guys. Really good. You're good on the videos. I
Thank
loved, I
you.
love,
Thank you.
I love checking out your music, and I loved when it was like the next one's going to be a video, and I'm so excited because I want to see the video. So, props to the
Mhm.
videos.
Thank
Make
you.
a way, beautiful. But then we're going to jump to 2024. Okay, and this album is great as well. We have Time Passed By.
Yeah.
What was and I'll read you guys a few of the songs, okay? Then we're going to talk about that project because that's the newest project besides what you're working on, and we'll get into what you're doing right now. Because he's working with another one of my favorite artists that came on the show, and we'll talk about that. But Time Passed By. Your songwriting on all of your albums, it's really good and thoughtful. But I really loved how thoughtful a lot of the songs that you wrote and what you put into those songs. So I want to tell you that. And you remember I was telling you that "Moving" is on Time Passed By, and I was telling Jakari, I love that song. I love "Moving."
Thank you.
I've been listening
Thank
to that all day. It's just in
you.
my head. And so, and I discovered that on TikTok, you guys. His music everywhere is streaming everywhere. So just type in Jakari Smith, you'll find his music. Okay. So yeah, he's come a long way. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, anyways, My Soul, and I love that the chorus, all this pain, and you know, okay.
Mhm.
Heart on Lock, Shine, beautiful. Like I said, Moving, Hop Out, What It Takes. That's a video. Love What It Takes video. Finer Things. That's a video. Love. It's not much I didn't like, honestly. I mean, come on.
Thank you.
World in My Hands. That's a video. And Time Passes By, which is the self-titled song to the album. Stay, Enough, By Your Side video. Awesome. Think I'm in Love, All I Wanted, Life is But a Dream. What was your inspiration behind Time Passed By?
So yeah, that was a different, it was a different for me because basically I had made all my projects before was I had the project, like the idea or the concept in mind, and I had like a date, I had like a kind of a cover figured out, and I was like I want to make songs to fit in this project. So like I was just making songs specifically for a specific, like it was around a specific sound, it was like a
Okay.
specific idea,
Yeah.
and I was making songs to like kind of like fit that project. And you know, Reflections Volume 2, when that came out, it was
Okay.
kind of like that was like that's like one of my personal favorite projects to
Okay.
date,
Okay.
just because it's like it was crazy like working on that, because it was like I had the idea for that album in
Okay.
mind, and it just like everything just fell into place like
Right.
perfectly. And then so like after that, it was kind of like I didn't know if like if I didn't know I was working on another like album or project
Okay.
after Reflections Volume 2.
Okay.
I was like, you know, I love making new stuff, and I love like working on music, like just, you know, creating something. And after Reflections Volume 2 dropped, I got the right like a few months. I took like a few months away, just to like promote. You know, I did some shows and stuff like that, and then I started like working again, like working on new stuff. And I wanted to change my sound up a little bit, because I feel like a lot of my music all the way up there, like I feel like I told about myself like a lot. You know, I've
Yeah.
revealed a
Yeah.
lot. You
You
know,
did.
and just reflected on my past, and like kind of like told you, you know, where I came from and everything. And I felt like now it was kind of like I want to like look towards the future, and I want to
Okay.
like kind of like tell myself and also the listener that like
Right.
there's no limit to like where you can take things. Like
Right.
just take, you know, I know it's a fog and you don't know like what's next, but
Right.
like you never like take that step, because you never know like what could be behind that door. And
Right.
like I wanted to change my message up to where instead of like just like looking back on my past and like figuring out how it got me to where I'm at today, now I'm like I'm focusing on the present and like looking towards the future and trying to like build aspirations and like tell myself like that I'm gonna be okay and I'm gonna be all right and I am worth everything that I need to do and everything that I desire. And so from there, I started working on, just it started off as just singles. So it wasn't
Okay.
no album or no
Okay.
real concept in mind. I was just working on individual songs, but the first one that I started on was What It Takes. And that
Okay.
was like I wanted everything to be more like anthemy and like more
Okay.
like
Yep.
upbeat, more
Yep.
like yeah, like let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like we
Right.
got this. We got this. So
Right.
I did like What It Takes, Finer Things, and then as I started to like work on these songs, I'm like, all these songs are kind of like like they flow together, like they kind of like
Right.
work
Yes.
together, and they're like, and I'm like, you know what? Like let me see if I could put something together because they're all kind of like they're
Yes.
aspiration songs. They're
Yes. They
they're
are.
building up self-worth. They're like talking about, you may have been beaten down, you may have been
Yep.
judged before, but you know who you are. Like nobody can take that away from you. So like I was like working on all these different songs and it was basically like it came together. Like, I did not know I was creating another body of work, but it
Right.
worked. Like it
It
came
did.
together how it was, and it was last minute deciding to come because basically I release singles like every month.
Okay.
Starting in November of 2023, I dropped
Okay.
What It Takes, and I dropped Finer Things, and Think I'm in
Okay.
Love remix in January.
Okay.
And like literally every like 3 weeks, I was dropping a new single, and
Okay.
like I have visuals, and they were just singles, 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 and
Right.
then around maybe March of 2024, I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna compile these and put these in an order that kind of like flows together, that
Okay.
makes sense. And then I'm gonna like basically drop a compilation album that brings, because they all kind of like they're the same message just in
Right.
different ways.
Right.
And they're basically like saying the same like you got this, you got this, you
Yes.
could do whatever
Yes.
you put your heart and your mind to.
Yes.
Um and it worked out, like it came out like exactly how I planned, and like the
Yeah.
rollout was perfect, and it was awesome, and I'm super grateful for that project, and it's like
Right.
it showed me that I can do a lot. Like it opened up my kind of like how I approach song making now. Like the
Okay.
stuff that I'm working on now
Okay.
wouldn't have been possible if I didn't like work on these singles and like
Right.
if like learn how to release consistently
Right.
like that.
Right.
I had never done that before, so it was cool like putting that together from all these individual songs and like
Right.
seeing the puzzle piece like just reveal itself. It was
Right.
crazy. It was dope. It was
I have
dope.
to say that what you're talking about with your music, like for instance, moving, like it's a dope beat. It's a song you can ride to. But what you're saying in there, what like you said, with a lot of your songs, I mean, you're doing inspirational messages because you're talking
Mhm.
in one song. You're telling yourself, you can do this. Your self esteem is better. You can, a lot of your from the Reflections Volume 2, a lot of that was a theme. I think it was also Better Off,
Yeah.
the things that you're saying. And like you said, you want your audience to feel that as well, and basically giving them a pep talk while you're giving yourself a pep
Hmm.
talk in the songs. And
Hmm.
that's what I like about moving, because you're talking about changing yourself,
Hmm.
doing better.
Hmm.
And that is a theme in a lot of your songs, because I like how some of the songs, oh, I think it was one song that, and maybe more than one song, that opens up with you just talking to yourself, basically,
Hmm.
you got this, you can do this. And so as a listener listening to that, I like hearing that, because, I'm doing my podcasting, or someone's doing
Hmm.
something else that they're interested in, or whatever. And hearing that, it's like, yeah, I can do this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I am going to be better. Yeah, I
Yeah.
am going to be good. Yeah, I do got this. And
Yeah.
so you're right, because in every song that you have, that's pretty much a theme. And then you have your hyphy ones where, you're like,
Mm,
let's go, let's get this. But in any song you have done, I noticed that it does flow. Every song you have
mm,
something positive to say. And the loved ones that you have, it's just really good and it's nice to hear. And so
thank
I
you.
do get that they all go together. Everything goes together. And even
Yeah.
especially in Time Passed By, it's kind of the same theme. You're always giving a pep talk to the listener, but to yourself,
Yeah.
like Jakari, you
Yeah.
got this. And
Yeah.
I do love that, because I did want to ask you the messages that you wanted your listeners to get from you when they're listening to your music, what you wanted them to take. And I think you
Yeah.
basically just answer that. That's what
Yeah.
you want them to get from you.
Yeah. Because basically, it's like I like growing up. I always felt like I was kind of like in a shell and like bottled
Okay.
in. I always felt like I felt like I was alone, like growing up. Like I felt
Okay.
like no one really understood me and like really accepted me for, besides like my immediate family. Like
Right. Right.
no one really like got me,
Right.
who I truly was. And at the same time, like I can't really fault, because also like I didn't really know who I was. Like, it's I'm still figuring it out. Like I
Right.
can't say that I fully, like, it's a day-to-day thing, and
Right. Right.
like I'm still like learning what I like, what I don't like, and think, I'm a human being, so things change. What
Right.
I may like this year may have not liked last year, and what I may like this year I may not like next year. So it's like just learning, who I am as I go and as I experience like life. Like, when I first started, it was really like music, all of it is my therapy. It's
I get that.
especially the songs like Better Off, Fly Me to the
Yes.
Moon,
Yes.
Miles in the Sky. Like those songs, I need to have those songs there because that is like where I was able to find my voice.
Okay.
That's where I can like really tell you, if someone asks me like, how are you doing, how are you feeling,
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard for me to like really explain it because
Okay.
sometimes I don't really know in the moment. But when I write, when I'm writing it out, it kind of like I just let it like just go, and I'm not afraid to like put it out there.
Okay.
Like, so like music, that's why I say music truly like saved me, and it's like it really is my therapy because I'm
Right.
able to like unfiltered share what I have to say, share what I feel, and I
Right.
actually have a voice, and like there's actually people who are also going through the same things.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
I feel like that's why music is such a powerful thing, and why I do take it as serious as I do, because like, you never know what, we all have our own individual lives, and we all
Right.
have things that we're going through, things that we're battling, things that
Right.
we have our own wins, we have our own losses,
Right.
but also we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we're all connected on this earth. So
Right.
like we do go through the same things, even though it may be a, different experience, or a different, different like, you know different steps to get to that,
Yeah.
but we do go through the same cycles,
Yes. Yes.
and I
Yes.
feel like, for me, people like, J. Cole, people like Pac, like they helped me get through a lot of the stuff that I was,
Right.
going through in my head. And like I just wanted to be able to, if someone is going through something that, is on my heart, if they're
Right.
going through a similar, situation, I want to be able to do that to them. I let them know that they're not alone. Like it's,
And you
we
do.
all, yeah.
Yeah, you do that. I mean, in the music, you definitely do that. I mean,
Mm,
anyone that listens to this, your albums, I mean, from 21 to now, if I take that from it, I'm sure that they, will get that, and I do like that. And you spoke about how you love blogging and you were really on the computers a lot, and you really enjoyed doing that. So, like, how do you leverage social media? Like, to build your fan base, your music? How
mhm.
do you do that with social media?
So sometimes social media, like it can be tough, like, like, just, being on there is
Right.
draining sometimes, especially as of late. Like, last year it was kind of like the hardest for me, because it
Okay.
just felt like, when I first started, it was like, it was kind of like I started from nothing. I started from
Okay.
ground zero. It was just me. Like, I picked up I got a laptop. I went on YouTube and I did all the research. Like, I didn't have no one tell me you need to do A, B, and C.
Okay.
Like, it was literally me
Right.
stepping, I had encouragement from, people that were around me, but I figured everything out. Like, I
Okay.
had to take the steps to, like, sit and learn and take notes on how to get things done. And, going from there and, like, having no kind of, like, no no, like, support, no, like, big outside support or
Right.
nothing like that. Like, to having that, like, having people like that actually, want to see the best for me. Like,
Right.
it was just it's been an adjustment, and, like, having to learn how to utilize social media to, because, when you have that support there, it's I'm grateful for that. So it's like I want to, like, present the best of myself to the people that, want to see me, see the best for me, and I
Right.
want to, like, keep it going and trying to figure out new ways of keeping that going. Like, it gets tough sometimes. So, like, I've had to take, like, a little step back from social media,
Okay.
just, like, some time away from even my phone as a whole, because sometimes it's
Okay.
like, you'll be stuck in the scrolling,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
there it's like you just, like, where did the time go? Like, it
Right.
was it was just 1 p.m. Now it's like 9 p.m. and I've been on Instagram all day, just, like,
All
looking at
day.
nothing. It's like I'm not being
Right.
productive. I'm not, like, what am I doing? And then also,
Right.
like, at the same time, I'm a human being, so, just, like, looking at what other people are doing, like, I'm a victim of that. Like, looking at what other
Yeah.
people are doing, and I'm like, damn, I'm not doing what I should be
Oh,
doing. I'm
that's
not doing enough.
bad. That's
It's
bad.
horrible. It's
That's
horrible.
bad. That's
And
bad.
we
That's
shouldn't we
bad.
shouldn't be like that. The
No.
only thing we need to worry about is, like, how we can improve ourselves, and
Right.
not really, like, I hate the comparison thing. So it's like, I'm me, and it's like I need to, like, focus on what Jakari needs. I need
Right.
to focus on how to make Jakari better. And it's
Right.
like it's good to, like, be inspired by others, but,
Yeah.
like, when you
Yeah.
take that inspiration and start beating yourself down is where
Right.
it becomes toxic and negative.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like that's when you need to put the phone down. You're like, all right,
Yes.
I need to step away from this because it feels like I'm, like, looking at this is happening here, this is happening
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Where am I at? Like,
Yeah,
what am I
see
doing?
that that's so true
Yeah.
that you say that because it is. You tend to be like, dang, I should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not there? And it totally corrupts you. You definitely have to take a break from social media because it will have you wanting to imitate or live like someone else,
Exactly.
or try to be like someone else when you don't realize how great you are and that you got your
Mm-hmm.
own thing going. And on top of that, someone's doing the same thing. They're on social media looking at Jakari saying, dang,
Yeah.
he's at the Look Cipher. He got that. He's at,
Mm-hmm.
he's got a song coming out with Halo B. I should be. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
all do that. And
We're
speaking
all
of,
victims.
we're all victims. But speaking of the, was it the Look Cipher?
Yeah.
How did that come about? You killed it, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
That
Thank
was
you.
great. That was
Thank
great.
you.
But how did it come about?
Shout out Sav 10 and Anton. They
Okay.
created that whole, the whole company, the whole
Okay.
situation with that, and, like,
Okay.
they've been going strong at it, for
Yes.
I think it's been over a year, or maybe
Okay.
two. But, I basically, like, I was supposed to have been on there for, like, a while, but, like, I work a 9 to 5 as well,
Okay. Yeah.
outside of music. So, like, it's hard for me to, like, whenever there's, like, things going on that's outside of my regular days off. Like I gotta get time off. I gotta get, there's a lot that goes.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm working on
Yeah.
figuring this thing out and balancing everything. So like at the as the time being, I gotta kind of work around my work schedule,
Yeah.
but hopefully, the more that we put into this, like I'll have more freedom. But
Absolutely.
currently, like this is the situation. So it's like, I was supposed to have been on, like he had reached out and asked me to come on that, that program and come and do the cipher for like months, and like it was just like the scheduling just like all like either I was available when he wasn't, or like he was available and I wasn't, and it was just like it just
Right.
didn't cross over. But finally we were able to like figure out like the perfect time, and
Okay.
everything worked out, and yeah, I pulled up, and that it was
Yeah.
an amazing experience. It was crazy. It was crazy, and like
Killed it. You
it's.
killed
I,
it.
thank you, thank you, thank you. It was crazy. Like the whole how they had everything set up, and like it was a amazing experience. Like I hadn't experienced anything like that before. So like they are doing like some amazing work over there, and like just tap in with them because they going they've been going strong like
I will definitely do
consistently,
that.
and they stand with it. So like yeah, they so many dope artists have been on there before and
Yes. Okay.
coming on there after me. So like yeah, they got something special going right now.
Good. Okay. I've
Yeah,
caught a few, and then I saw you on there. Saw Hala on there, and
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it was great, but that was you killed it. You absolutely killed it.
Thank you,
Speaking of
thank you.
Hala V, what's up, Hala V? I loved your Christmas song,
Yeah.
Hala. It was a dope Christmas song. I love that. Let's talk about that. What's
Yeah.
going on? The music.
Oh, yeah. Me and Halo, we got I'll say it's the Sacramento anthem coming out.
Okay.
The
Okay.
916 anthem coming out this
Oh
year.
yes, yes.
We created a banger, something magical. Like I've
Okay.
known Halo, for a while now.
Okay.
And like it's always like it's crazy because it's like I love performing. I love like going like that's what like I feel like one of my like real strengths with the whole creative aspect of everything is the
Okay.
performance side of things, and I love like bringing energy to the crowd,
Okay.
and like really like putting on a show, whether it be five people in the crowd or 500 people in the crowd. I'm gonna give you
Right.
the same energy. And like I've seen a lot of people perform, and I've been to a lot of like shows of a lot of local local artists, a lot of people in our region, and one of the top performers, the top artists that I've ever witnessed out here is Halo. And like I feel
Yes.
like
Yes.
whenever I see Halo perform, it's like I like whenever they put me on like we've been on like a lineup before, and they I was after Halo, and I was
Okay.
like I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, because it's like you gotta follow that up, and like
Yeah. I'm like,
Halo's
yes.
Halo's support system too is like I've seen it in action. I've seen it in
Yeah.
person, and they show up and they show out. So it's like if you ain't coming with it, if you ain't bringing it,
Yeah.
then you might it's you in for a test,
Yeah,
But
talking to
Halo
that.
is like
Yeah. She's talking to her.
Halo's
Go ahead.
Halo's a different breed, and like
Yes.
we've like we're supposed to like work on something for a while, like a few
Okay.
months. We were talking about it, and I found this beat. I found the beat, and I was like, whenever I'm like listening to beats, I'm always in my head. It's like the first thing I do is like I'm like, who could I hear on this that I know?
Okay.
And there's some beats where it's like, this may be just for me. Like I feel like
Okay.
this is just a solo song.
Okay.
But like I always try before I decide to go fully solo on it. I'm like,
Okay.
who can I hear that would just elevate the song? Like if we were both on this together. And like
Right.
I heard the beat, and I was like, Halo was the first person that came to mind. I was like, I
Right.
know Halo's gonna go crazy on it. And like I sent it over. I had already did my demo and I wrote the like my parts and the chorus
Okay.
that I had in mind. And Halo was like, all right, bet I'll have something ready for you. And I kid you not, like literally like maybe 30 minutes goes by. She was like, I'm ready. I was like, nah. I was like,
Yeah.
30 like 30 minutes. She's like, I'm ready. I was like, all right, bet. Let me book a session. And I didn't
Right.
even she didn't even send me no demo. Like she didn't say, she was just like, I'm ready. I was like, all right, bet. So I booked the session. I didn't, and then she came to the session. Like I still hadn't heard the verse or nothing, but I already
Yeah.
knew like whatever, however she was coming on it was gonna be right. And she went in there and she spit the verse. I was like, oh, I said, yeah, this is it. This is it. I was like, this is it's over. I was like, this is
She was.
over. So yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was like, it's over. So like we laid the track down. I work with my engineer. His name is Prodigy Music.
Okay.
And whenever you book with him, like you usually like get the finished song at the same
Okay.
session. So
Oh
like we
wow.
have like yeah, we finished the song right then and there that same session, and yeah, it's gonna be
I
crazy.
can't wait
Like
for that. I can't wait for that.
it's
I'm looking forward to that. She was
yeah.
telling me about when she did the song Capsize with Yum's Awkward.
Hmm.
And remember that came out a
Yeah.
few years ago. And
Yeah.
I was asking her about that because the song, I mean, the song was just it was a straight hit. You know,
Hmm.
Yums is dope. Shout out to Yums Awkward. I can't wait to have you back
Yeah.
on. Haley, you know I gotta have you back on. But she was telling me about that and she was like, she was just listening, and then wrote it. Wrote her chorus. And just like that. Like she's a star. And what I love about her,
Yeah.
she knows she's a star. She's a
Yeah.
star. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't know Halo V, please go check her out. She is dope as hell. But
For
her
real.
music is
For
fire,
real.
and I love seeing you two together. I thought that'd be a great combo.
Yeah.
Listening to your music and her together, so I'm looking forward to that. What are your long term goals for your career in music?
Yeah, so like really I'm the first thing long term that I want to do, like I want music to kind of like take over a little,
Okay,
like I want to have more consistency
okay,
with music, whether it be, and not necessarily just like rapping, like whether it be more like, because another thing that I'm working on currently, outside of like making like new raps or new R&B songs or whatever, I'm trying to produce a lot, a little bit.
okay,
I'm getting
okay,
into production, as
okay,
well as learning how to like mix and master and engineer,
okay,
and I want to like get to a point where I can like comfortably like produce or engineer stuff for other artists.
okay,
So like basically like what I want to do going forward is I want to not only like have consistency with my own career, but also like have other skills to be able to help other people with their stuff, and then that will help me like have more of a consistency and kind of like lessen the 9 to 5 aspect of my life.
okay,
I want creativity to be like taking care of like the responsibilities and the bills and stuff like that I have to, that I have going on. So I want like there to be like a little bit more financial freedom, and I want like it to be like really creatively funded, more so, so like just finding ways to not just like with show, not just with shows, but like
okay.
maybe like engineering for other artists, producing beats for other artists, and like
Right,
finding ways to like turn this more into a business. That's like my main goal currently. I'm just learning how to like how to advertise a little bit, so like trying to like just spread the reach a lot more, and
right,
I want to start expanding a little bit outside of Sacramento. I've done a few shows out of Sac, but not a lot. I've
Okay.
done some in the Bay Area. I've had shows in Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I've yeah, did some shows out there. So
Okay.
I just want to like do a lot more and just grow like little by little.
Right.
And like I said, I'm fresh in the scene, fresh in the journey. It's only
Okay.
been 4 years, so
Right.
like I still have ways to go. And like I'm trying not to like just remind myself like it's not a race. It's
Yes.
it's
Right.
going to take time.
Yes.
And it's going to take it's not going to happen overnight. It
Right.
could, but it's not likely. So it's like just be just be aware of that and
Right.
just be prepared to take it day by day, and
Right.
just like work, brick by brick, like work on it piece by piece and like just grow with time, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
that's like my long-term goal is to like really like figure out how to creatively build financial freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, where you're at now. I mean, yeah, you're definitely going somewhere. You are somewhere. Your
Thank you.
music is great. You're doing a great job. I mean, I'm a fan of yours now. I've
Thank you.
been a fan for some time now. Like I told you, I've been listening to you for some time and kind of peeping you for a minute. So yeah, you're great. You're doing good. Your
Thank
music
you.
is
Thank you.
is is dope, and
Thank you.
the look cipher, all of that. So you definitely have the chops. I mean, you're doing it. 4 years, and look where you're at. So
I know it's
yeah,
crazy.
and I know you see that, like, from when you started out, which was, shoot, the 2021 album. That mixtape was really good, to now where you're at. I mean, you're doing songs with Halo V, so definitely pat yourself on the back and
Thank you.
take time to
Thank you.
recognize that.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Bay, so
Hmm.
I always like to ask artists from Sacramento, what's the difference between Sacramento music and the Bay to you? Do you see a difference with the way that they make music to how you guys make music here in Sacramento?
I think see I haven't been out there too much and like really
Okay.
been in the scene out there
But
too
just what
much.
they have coming
But
out, like your
yeah,
E40s,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
it
Like,
it feels like they have more of like a collective identity. Like it feels like
right.
they
I've
have
heard that
more of
before.
like a when you see the bay, when you think of the bay, it has its own flavor, it has its
Right.
own like kind of style, like its
Right.
own swagger to it. And I feel like Sacramento, like we're kind of like a few of us are building towards that, and a lot of us like we work together a lot, and we kind of
Right.
like are like there's definitely like a popular Sacramento sound, and it's a
Right.
lot of like you know there's a lot of like people, like I'm not gonna say like no names or anything like that, but there's
Right.
people
Right.
out here who rap about a certain like lifestyle that not
Yeah.
all of us can relate to.
Right.
There's a the street politics and like all that
Right.
kind of stuff. Like it is a big part of the Sacramento sound, and I feel there's
Right.
a lot of artists that are coming out, especially post COVID and all that. A lot
Right.
of artists that came out of the quarantine, like that are kind of like finding lanes outside of what's popular, outside of that
Right.
norm, and kind of
Right.
like being finding their own lane, and trying to be different outside of the mold.
Right.
There is like a sound that's like really popularized, and like it's a content that's really popularized, but
Right.
there's a whole wave of artists coming in that are like changing that narrative. And it's like I feel like the Bay Area has a lot of those artists, and they're kind of like more cohesive with that.
Right.
It feels like they have their kind of like they're they have a certain like identity, and it's like a collective like mindset.
Right.
Whereas like Sacramento, there's artists that are that, but it still feels separated in a lot of ways, and kind of like
Yeah.
kind of like grouped up in cliques in a lot of ways, you know. But
Okay.
it's I think it's coming out of that, you know, little by little.
Right.
And I think like, you know, give it a few more years, like I think it'll be like it'll definitely be, you know, a lot more open, and it's becoming it feels like that even since I started in, you know, my the first year
Right.
2021 when I first started, it has definitely grown a lot. You
Okay.
know there's been a lot of like loss too, like especially like venues and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of venues that, you know, used to be here that closed down. There's a lot of like
Okay.
a lot of changes like that, but you know, I feel like everybody's kind of finding their own way. And like, you
Okay.
know, also there's a lot of like more collaboration going on, which is
Right.
like super dope. And I love
Love that.
collaborating. I
Yeah. Love
love
that.
working with other artists and like
Right.
two different styles blending together and like just seeing what works, you know. And like, you know, I feel like that's kind of like the differences. Like the Bay has its own flavor and Sac has its own flavor, you know, and we, you know, it's kind of like just trying to strengthen up that bridge, you know,
Okay.
because it's like Sacramento is not the Bay, you know, Sacramento is its own thing, but it's
Right.
cool like working with the people out in the Bay and like kind of like
Absolutely.
building those connections and bridges, and that's
Definitely.
what I want to do a lot more going forward.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank
hmm
you for answering that. Anyways, guys, and before I go, shout out to anything you want to say that I didn't cover, please.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for having me on the
Of
platform.
course. Of course.
I have a lot of new music coming out this year. I'm working on like yeah, so much stuff that I'm working on. I have like yeah, countless features, countless like, you know, collaborations. Working on basically like this year, I told myself I want to show my personality a lot more in my art, in my social media presence, in my visuals. Like I want you to know Jakari a lot more, you know, and you know, I want my visuals to be like more entertaining. I want to have like full stories. Like I want you to like
Okay.
really see, you know, the other side that my immediate family and the people that are closest to me get to see on a regular basis.
Right.
And like I want to like really just, you know, just have I have like so many ideas, and it's really gonna make a lot more sense once it's out. So just know that I'm, you know, I'm working on things. You know, I'm working on the music things, but I'm also working on myself. So you know, just stay tuned in with me.
Absolutely.
You know, I just have so much for y'all, and yeah, we're gonna keep it going. Yeah,
Well, we appreciate that. We will be following you here at Rossie's Clubhouse. You guys, this is Jakari. He's a Sacramento artist, a rapper, singer, songwriter, and you will hear more from him. You will get more from him, and I'll be sharing whatever you got. Definitely, I'm looking forward to the future with you, your music, and I'm looking forward to that banger with you and Halo V. So,
yeah.
thank you guys for joining me. Let's see. January 27th, I have a very special guest. Her name is Misha Dissel, and she is the producer, director, writer of a film called Hidden in Plain Sight, starring your
Mm.
girl here, Rossie McCree, and Buddy Rami.
Ooh.
And we finished that a few years ago. Buddy and I got Best Lead Actor and Actress in that film, and Misha got a few awards, and I cannot
Ooh.
wait to bring her on. She's so talented, and I'm looking forward to her coming on Rossie's Clubhouse and you guys getting to know her. And I can't wait to see what she's writing and what she has coming for us. So you guys stay tuned for that episode. It will be at 7 p.m. And that one may be recorded. Okay, Rossie's Clubhouse. We're doing some changes here, so much more to come. And I have a whole list of people coming in February that I can't wait for you to meet. Some actors, and I want you guys to meet some people that work behind the scenes. And I have a very special guest that's going to come in and talk about that. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed the show. You guys be good to each other. Thank you so much for joining us, Jakari. Don't leave. Stay right back there. And let me just put this up so you guys will know. This is JAKHARI Smith, you guys. We are out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.